Cyan replies, I did hear that His Majesty will be visiting, but was that supposed to be today? His father smiles and says, yes. I wanted to ask you for a favor regarding that. Cyan curiously and anxiously asks Adan. At this moment, a soldier's voice interrupts, announcing, here comes His Majesty, the Emperor. Cyan's father is now outside kneeling down, saying, I, the Lord of Belias, greet the Honorable Emperor, His Majesty. The king appears on horseback, calling him Beliarth. At this moment, the king dismounts and approaches Beliarth, helping him up and saying, we're old friends. Don't be so polite. Though he has the king's permission, Beliarth still feels some apprehension. Your Majesty. The king's gaze now turns towards Cyan's position. Oh, is it that child? Cyan bows and replies, I greet the Honorable Emperor, His Majesty. I'm Cyan Bert, the youngest of the Verts. The king compliments for a boy this young to be residing in such a rough environment. Your children are definitely different from the ordinary ones. Cyan, feeling comfortable, thinks, I was wondering what the favor was going to be, but he just wanted me to appeal myself as his son. I was always cooped up in the mansion in my past life when the emperor visited. Let's go inside, young master. Whoa, Tilda, look over there, Emily. It's the emperor. I'm so deeply touched by father's trust. At this moment, the king calls a servant and says, splendid. I wanted to introduce someone as well. From the horse-drawn carriage, a beautiful woman appears. She introduces herself as Orin Severus. Cyan looks at the princess and thinks, Orin Severus, the tragic fifth princess. After some greetings, Cyan and his father are now in the camp, where his father tells him, you'll need to escort Princess Orin for the day. Cyan wonders about the significance of the task he's been given. His father reassures him, no need to be so surprised. You just need to keep her company. You're the same age as her. You'll see her once you enter the academy too. Cyan recalls seeing her at the academy in his past life. I saw her a few times between classes. Beliarth then says, there's no harm in becoming acquainted with someone of the royal family. It won't be long, but I just want you to get along. Cyan silently evaluates, I don't really want to do it, but I understand father's intentions. He probably wishes that we develop a friendship like he has with the emperor. But he's picked the wrong person for it. She cannot become my friend. Although I can say that since that's a future only I know of. It's annoying, but I'll have to just be obedient for now. At this point, images of the battlefield appear. Orin asks, why is that river so red? Cyan explains, you mean the Blood River? It's a stream that runs through the entirety of the Lamia Valley. There isn't any complex reason as to why the water is red. The demonic beasts, old or injured and unable to fairly compete for survival with others, instinctively leap into the Blood River. Their corpses and bodily fluids dissolve into the river, turning it red from mana-induced decomposition. Orin, alarmed, asks, so that's all demonic beasts' bodily fluids and corpses? Cyan replies, yes, they also drink and wash in it. It's very disgusting, don't go in it. Orin grimaces and asks further, gross. What's at the end of the river? Cyan responds, the demon realm. Orin questions, demon realm? Where the demons live? Cyan, with a mischievous smile, answers, yes, if you keep following this river, you'll even meet the demon king. He silently thinks that no sane person would do that, finding it amusing to tease her. At this moment, the sky signals with a flare shot up. Orin curiously asks, what's that light? Cyan explains, that's the 3rd sentry post in the west. A yellow light signifies incoming demonic beasts. Orin, somewhat fearful, questions, there are demonic beasts here? Cyan's father orders, protect His Majesty. Bardian Night Division troops will come with me to the 3rd sentry post in the west. The king, with a cheerful face, says, don't be like that, Beliarth. Your Majesty, you think I'm here to go on a hike? I've been starting to get really bored, anyway. Though hesitant, Beliarth reluctantly complies. All right, Your Majesty. The king proclaims, we will join in the demonic beast raid. Focus on killing the demonic beasts until the raid is over. All the soldiers respond in unison, yes, Your Majesty. Cyan's father turns to him and says, you join too, Cyan. Cyan quickly responds, yes, father. The princess incredulously asks, you can fight the demonic beasts? Cyan answers, yes, although I'm still just supporting from the back. You should get to the shelter. Orin hastily demands, take me with you. Upon receiving the request, Cyan wonders, what the hell is this kid saying? The attendant beside her tries to stop her, but Orin insists, you said you're the same age as me. Then I can come too. Cyan warns, people die here. It's not a playground. Rin persists, I don't care. I'm going, and no one can stop me. Cyan, frustrated with Erin's stubbornness, angrily calls his knight, Yulkin. Yulkin, with a terrifying demeanor, says from behind, yes, young master. I, Yulkin, will substitute the royal knights and escort her highness to safety in the camps. Let's go, your highness. Rin, somewhat scared but still defiant, exclaims, impudent. How dare you treat me, a princess, in such a manner? Cyan, with a menacing look, leans close to Erin's face and says, dozens of knights might die because of your stubbornness. A split-second decision can decide your fate of either dying or surviving in a war. Can you take responsibility for all those lives? Hearing this, Rin felt so scared that she almost burst into tears. Cyan walked away, leading her behind with the knights and saying, go back if you're gonna cry like a child, your highness. At this moment, Rin could only stand and watch Cyan leave in silence. At the center of the battlefield, a monster resembling a giant snail was devouring the small soldiers. The soldiers cheered each other on. Do not fall back, halt. Viliarth appeared, brandishing his sword and shouting, get back into formation. Protect his majesty and slay all the monsters. Do not spare even a single one of them. Upon hearing his command, all the soldiers charged into battle with unwavering determination. Continuing from the previous section, which introduced the Yushif Empire, Dion Severus, the emperor of the Yushif Empire, had 2 wives. Diana Kazel was the first wife, but she is now dead. Cassandra Nepellus is the second wife, and considered the prominent judiciary of the empire. The former empress gave birth to the first and second princesses, and the current empress gave birth to the third prince and fourth prince. However, Rin Severus, the fifth princess, was a bastardized daughter born to some peasant mistress. People treated her as something like a scarecrow of a princess for her mixed blood. But she did not care about how others perceived her. She fulfilled her duty as a part of the royal family, and devoted herself to her studies more than anyone. However, she was framed for treason by those who resented her, and she was kicked out of the royal family and the empire. Rumors spread that she died alone from a disease on an island. Because of that, people called her the tragic princess. She could have lived a happy life had she not been greedy. It would have been better for her to live without any ambition. After the story, Karim asked, isn't that what your father always told you in your past life? Cyan, who was currently in a state of battle with monsters, calmly replied, it's different. That's what royal politics are like. At this moment, a giant snail was attacked by powerful lightning strikes. Its body seemed to be thoroughly cooked. Other giant snails suffered a similar fate. Cyan stood nearby, observing and evaluating. The emperor sure is skilled. With his holy lightning skill, the king is slaughtering all the giant snails within his reach. Cyan stated that Emperor Dion is known publicly for being an 8-star in magic rank. Had he not become an emperor, he probably would have been the Mage Association's head. I'm sure an intermediate rank demonic beast is no problem for him. I guess you could say that being an emperor is his hobby. After a period of fighting within the camp, the king and Cyan's father were sitting, enjoying wine. The king said, it's been a while since I shared a drink with you, Viliarth. Although I do feel quite lonesome that it's only me drinking. Viliarth replied, I'm sorry. I do not allow myself to drink on the front lines. At this point, the king changed the subject, saying, anyway. I was reminded when you asked me about the current atmosphere in the empire. There has been a recent spike in assassinations of nobles. It's causing a lot of anxiety. Viliarth asked the king, are there any patterns to these assassinations? The king replied, yes. All of the assassinated nobles were corrupt officials. Plus, Black Fog was present at all of the murder scenes. Hearing that detail, Viliarth pondered thoughtfully. The king asked, do you have an idea? Viliarth responded, I did find traces of them here yesterday. It seems like the Black Fog followers have been on the move again. The king replied, it makes sense, but you'll need to look into it more. I do appreciate that you're taking care of the garbage, but I can't just sit by and watch as the people grow more anxious. There's something else that concerns me. Viliarth inquired again, what is it? The king replied, some damn noble is blabbering that this is the fifth princess's fault. Viliarth asked again to confirm, you mean there are people trying to tie Princess Rin to those incidents? The king clarified further, I've been suppressing them by shrugging it off as nonsense, but it seems like there is a group that wants to use her. Let me ask you for a favor as a friend, and not as an emperor. If I end up dying before you, please take care of that child. Accepting the request from the king, Viliarth responded with a serious face. I, Veliarth Vert, will carry out your majesty's orders to completion. Upon receiving Veliarth's assurance, the king was pleased and thanked him. At the campsite, it was raining heavily. In Cyan's tent, Emily was feeling frustrated and asked Cyan, "That's all?" Cyan replied, "What more did you expect?" Emily said firmly, "She's the princess. You just ended the escort there? You're never gonna get married at this rate." Criticized by Emily, Cyan felt it was a bit much, thinking, "I wasn't going on a date." Then Cyan left the tent, telling Emily, "Anyway, I'll trust you to take care of things while I'm gone." Emily expressed some concern, asking, "Are you going training again?" "It's raining so hard." Cyan reassured her, "Don't worry about it. Don't stay up waiting for me either." But as he was about to leave, a girl in a cloak stood outside in the rain waiting at Cyan's camp gate. Cyan was puzzled by the person in front of him. Emily, fearful, asked who that person was. At this point, the stranger took off her hood and asked Cyan, "Where were you gonna go?" The person was Eren. She asked him, "Sorry, but can we talk if you're not busy?" Emily quickly changed her attitude, welcoming Eren warmly. Outside Cyan's camp, there were not only soldiers from Cyan's clan but also royal soldiers. Eren asked Cyan, "How long has it been since you got here?" Cyan replied, "About a month." He curiously asked her, "Why did you come to see me?" Eren felt something slightly ominous behind him. "Can you excuse us for a bit?" "Go outside for a bit, Emily," he said. Before leaving, Emily turned back and said, "All right, have a good time together." With everything quiet now, Cyan thought to himself, "A good time with a 10-year-old? No, I'm 40. In this situation, Eren hesitantly said, "I'm sorry about what happened earlier. I feel like I didn't act as a princess should." Cyan responded politely, "You don't need to worry about that. I apologize for being rude." Eren smiled and said, "No, I would have said the same thing if I were you. You're acknowledged by a lot of people unlike me. And you're a lot more mature." As her smile faded, Eren's face took on a slightly saddened expression as she continued, "You're acknowledged by a lot of people unlike me. And you're a lot more mature." Seeing Eren's change in demeanor, Cyan thought, so that's the kind of personality she has. Eren then expressed her desire, "Right, you're entering the academy too, right? Let's be." Cyan understood what she was suggesting and cut her off before she could finish. His face turned serious, with a hint of intimidation as he firmly declined, "I'm sorry. But I don't believe I can be of any help to you." This made Eren feel fearful for a moment. Cyan clarified his stance, "If you're here to make friends, please leave." Eren tried to persuade Cyan, "I just wanted us to be on good terms." "You're harsh. Do you also think that I'm just a shell of a princess?" Not receiving a response to her difficult question, Eren continued, "I understand. I guess there's no benefit in being friends with me. Sorry for wasting your time." She then decided to leave, saying, "I guess I was short-sighted. I thought maybe we could at least talk. But you're completely different from Sir Ashel." Hearing the name of his betrayed brother, Cyan became visibly unsettled, thinking, what did she just say? In that moment, he lost control, gripping Eren's hand tightly to stop her from leaving. In pain, Eren asked Cyan, "What's with you?" Cyan asked with a cold tone, "Ashel, how do you know my brother?" Fearfully, Eren replied, "I got to know him when I was touring the Royal Academy last year. He advised me to not care about what others think and that I should just fulfill my role as a princess." Hearing the story, Cyan understood the issue at hand. He thought to himself, "Advised? As if. I know that demonic bastard's personality better than anyone. It already began as soon as she met him. The plan to bring down Princess Eren." Cyan is furious at this moment, but still worriedly warns Eren, "Let me warn you." But his words are not finished. Suddenly, their camp is shaken. Emily rushes in from outside in a hurry, saying, "Young master, you have to run." But at that moment, a giant log is crashing down onto Cyan's camp from above. It's so fast that no one can perceive its appearance. As soon as the disturbance occurs, Cyan's entire camp is smashed. Emily luckily lies outside the attack range and escapes death. What appears before them now is a huge monster holding a tree branch. People now realize, but it's too late, shouting to each other, "Damn it, that's the young master's tent. Hurry, check if the young master is okay." Emily sits crouched on the ground, engulfed in fear, calling for her master. By now, the shock has reached Veliarth's camp. The king and Veliarth are worried, unsure of what's happening. At this moment, a soldier enters to report. The king's face darkens as he asks, "What did you just say?" The soldier reports in detail. Advanced rank demonic beasts ambushed the rear camps of the border regions. I think the princess was there when it happened. The king urgently orders everyone of the imperial army to the rear camps immediately. We need to secure the safety of the princess. The soldier acknowledges the order and replies, yes, your majesty. The king ponders. She was in the rear camps. Whom was she going to see? The scene shifts to the area under attack by the monsters. 2 ogres appear there. Cyan is lucky after the attack, now hiding behind to assess. Death worm and ogres too. They should only reside in the deeper regions of the valley. But for them to be here in the rear camps, something must have changed. Is it because of me? Emily cries and says, young master, I thought you were really dead. I'll never leave your side again. Returning to the time of the attack. At that moment, when the camp was attacked from above, Cyan managed to hold her Ren and dodge to the side, avoiding the fatal blow. He silently evaluates, back in my day, I even killed the Demon King. As if I died to some mere troll. Orin worries and asks, do you think the knights in the camps are okay? Emily replies, don't worry, your highness. The knights are really strong. Orin hugs her face and cries, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't come here. The knights that came with me are. The knights behind her reassure her, we're okay, your highness. It's given that we would protect you as the knights of the empire. The remaining person also smiled confidently and said, he's right, your highness. We'll protect you with our lives. Suddenly, Cyan's expression turned serious as he warned the knights, move. The knights didn't understand his meaning and were unaware of the imminent danger approaching from behind. In the next moment, the troll's large hand grasped his body, and with a single grip, the knight was killed. Cyan stepped forward to protect her Rin and instructed her to step back. Seeing Cyan's appearance, the troll seemed to recognize something. Cyan immediately realized, I knew it. It's me that it wants. Upon identifying its target, the troll threw the knight's body aside. Cyan urgently told everyone, I'll distract the troll, so get away with the princess. Emily agreed without worrying about Cyan. Cyan was also annoyed by her quick compliance. She carried her Rin and said, what are you doing, Mr. Knight? Let's go. Cyan thought angrily, she was really eager to leave, huh? The troll raised both hands to attack Cyan, who prepared to counter. In the next moment, his sword cut through the troll's arm. After the attack, Cyan wondered, why are the advanced ranked demonic beasts all attracted to me? I feel like they're smelling something on me. Karim chuckled maliciously and said, you drank the blood of countless demonic beasts to become strong. And that's why you reek of them. It'd be weird if they didn't come for you. Cyan asked urgently, what? You knew about this? Why are you telling me now? Karim smirked and replied, did you forget? What I want is your body. Before he could react, Cyan squeezed him. From Karim's body, the Karim sword appeared. Karim complained, what are you doing? Please treat me better. Cyan demanded, shut up. I don't care how many monsters come at me. After saying that, he rushed towards the troll. The troll threw a punch at him, but he dodged and approached its head, cutting it off. The troll's heavy body fell to the ground. Cyan said, now that no one's watching, let's go sip on some advanced rank demonic beast blood. In front of him was a crowd of large monsters. Karim excitedly said, oh, it's gonna be a feast. But then he noticed something and said, wait, is that? A large dragon with a purple body appeared. Thank you all for watching our video today. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications so you won't miss any future uploads. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below about what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.